All right, welcome to a special edition of LND Talk. We're talking the playoffs for year three. Um, I have Spacing and C-Mart as always with me. Um, you guys ready for some playoffs?
Well, I certainly am, as someone who made the playoffs.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I certainly am as someone that did not. I'll be interested to watch the games for once.
yeah. I mean, I have currently the bracket is on the screen. Seeding may change as the Titans did drop his game to the Seahawks, and the Panthers are also waiting on their game against the Rams. That depending on who wins and loses, could flip who's in, who's out. Um, but matchup wise, I mean, we'll start with the NFC. Before anything, I just want to say I do have the one seed here, but I think if we're talking about matchup wise, my road is more difficult than I mean, whoever has a 2 or 3 seed. Personally, um, I'm gonna end up playing most likely Lions or Seahawks in the next round. I don't see the Rams beating the Falcons, and I don't see the Panthers beating the Cowboys. So I don't see it. But I mean, Cowboys and Panthers. Panthers first time in the playoffs. What are you guys thinking?
Um, I mean, I think it's about time. I guess that'd be my response. So interested to
Uh,
see how.
yeah, I think the Cowboys did a hell of a flip, considering last year they were like what 3-13 or 3-4-13 or something by the end of the season, and now they're the number 2 seed. Like, what are they, 14-3, 13-4, somewhere around there. So
He shouldn't even have 4 losses. He got screwed against the Packers with that 2-0 glitch.
yeah, so for him to turn it around in quite literally one season like that is impressive.
Yeah, I think he was developing guys. I mean, his team is crazy stacked when it comes to abilities. Every defensive lineman has an ability. I'm pretty sure he has 2 abilities in the DB section. Linebackers, I think the linebacking group is the only group that doesn't have any abilities, and offense has abilities everywhere as well. Um, I do think that he ends up winning, and I do think that he'll he'll move on. I think it's gonna be between him and Quinn um, in the next round, but I don't know. I don't know who's gonna win in that round in that game. It all depends on Quinn. But that's moving ahead of myself. I do think the Cowboys beat the Panthers. I mean, roster wise, Panthers only has Mac Jones as a quarterback. Trey Lance is the Cowboys quarterback. I don't see Diamond Dallas dropping it.
Yeah, I got the Cowboys over the Rams for sure.
Same. Me too.
But I mean, the next matchup is the Rams and the Falcons, which doesn't look good on the Rams sitting here saying, "Damn, I got the Falcons." Already, in his head about the game. So, but we did see Quinn drop last season. He was the number 2 seed. Wait, was he the number? Yeah, he was the number 2 seed and ended up dropping to the Lions, and he actually got blown out. I remember that one. He was big mad about that one. So
I
maybe
think I think Quinn kind of mailed that one in though once things didn't go his way early, um, which happens a lot with him.
So I don't
And I
know
still,
how Quinn plays. I haven't like watched any streams or anything like that he's done, but I know how the Rams play because I get to play him twice a year, and he's not bad, but he can't throw the ball. And I feel like if you ever get to a point in this Madden, at least, where you can't throw the ball, you're just so far behind. It's hard to do anything with that.
yeah. I mean, I played him once. I played him once, and I think, I mean, maybe against your defense he can't pass. I mean, I think he puts together some good routes, but at least when I played him, his quarterback kind of hung him out to dry and wasn't making the throws. That being said, I do think a lot of times, at least with him, they're kind of predetermined routes that he runs. So it's like, okay, I'm snapping the ball and I'm gonna throw it here, and if that first read isn't there, that's when he kind of gets in trouble.
Yeah.
yeah. I think this one. I think this round of the playoffs for Quinn, I think it's going to be more of a wake up call for him. And I say that as in I think that last season, because I don't know about you guys or not, but when you lose in the playoffs, that weight, especially when you know you can consistently make it, that weight getting into the playoffs that next season feels like it takes forever. So I
Yeah,
I don't
so
know
it's a
how
long couple weeks.
it's such a long couple weeks. So I don't know how it's a month. If we really think about it, it's about a month.
Yeah, it's about
Well,
a month for each season.
yeah, and it makes the off season shitty. Like if you lose in the playoffs, you don't want to do the off season anymore. You just want to be back in the fucking. You want to play games again.
Especially if you lose one where it's like, man, I actually probably could have and should have won that game. Those are the worst.
Yeah,
So I do think that Quinn will lock in and end up winning. And then the last one is the Seahawks and Lions. It's more of a revenge game for you. You get to play the Lions again in the playoffs, and I mean
yeah.
he's had your number.
It's he's not bad, of course. Respect where respect is due. We have close games every single time we play. I would say last year, maybe he signed some players that he shouldn't have signed before our game, but he's not going to be doing that this year. So that's really all that matters.
Yeah. I
Yeah, I
put
mean, I think that matchup should be a good one. I do think. Did you have Howell as X Factor last year when you played him?
No, I got Howell to X Factor at the end of the when the award for the year came
Okay.
out.
So yeah, I think that will be a big difference too to help, just because. I mean, we all know like having that X Factor quarterback makes a ton of difference versus even superstar quarterbacks. Like
Oh yeah.
I know previously we had mentioned like, man, if you can just get an ability quarterback, it matters. But the more I've played Madden since then, even your superstar quarterbacks, depending on the abilities they have, like it's still you'll still get those wild throws too. Like
Yeah, and I think last season I didn't have like I wasn't 90 overall for the strong arm, so I don't think I had gunslinger yet.
yeah, so all that stuff matters. So I think you're at least in a better position this year where if it ends up being a shootout or something, I think you can go blow for blow with them.
Yeah, and one place that where the Lions makes life really difficult is he's a hurry up offense guy, and after that second time, especially in one drive, your your play calling really gets small because it turns into, okay, well, here's my audibles, and I mean I think we can all agree that when you audible on defense, especially if you're trying to change formation, it breaks the defense.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you get out of position when they snap it, I mean, it's like a free play.
Yeah, and it's
You just
tough.
you're just so limited on defense. Like when you're trying to audible, like it's the defense is at a severe disadvantage, and yeah, I don't know, man. Like I would almost prefer they go back to the old way of having the offense actually run to the line of scrimmage, because this automatic runoff stuff, it does not benefit the defense at all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's a whole different video for another day. I actually Spacing sent me a video. It was about, what was it, Madden 11 or Madden 12, when they introduced aggressive catching and all that, or 16, Madden 16, way
Yeah.
way much further. Um, and it was actually faster to hurry up back in Madden 16 when there wasn't that automated system than it does in this Madden. Which, I mean, if you have to hurry it up, and let's say there's 25 seconds left, and you throw a deep ball down the field and catch it, and you get tackled inbounds, the game's over. There is no, well, let's see what happens. And
Yeah.
let me stop before I get into that because that's a whole different video for another day. Um, so the next matchup, and we're gonna go AFC now. The first round, Jets has the bye. He's looking at his revenge tour to get back into the Super Bowl and win it. You, but we have the 2 seed New Dini Colts versus the Bills. 3 seed Ravens versus the Titans. 4 seed Chiefs versus the Jags. Starting at the top, Colts, Bills. Spacing, what you got?
Starting at the top with Colts and Bills, I have the Colts. Easy choice there. I mean, the Bills is a pretender. The fact that he made the playoffs is a surprise.
Yeah, he essentially had 4 free wins in division this year. No offense to C-Mart. With his nerfs, essentially 4 free wins. So I agree. I think Noob's gonna drop some points. I really do. Unless Bills have some time of possession. Which is he really good about time of possession? C-Mart, you play him twice a year.
Yeah, he's pretty good about it. Like he's not really the type of guy that's gonna try to like one play you down the field. Like he'll go on some drives, and if you're not stopping him, he'll convert his third downs, and next thing you know, it's been a 5 minute drive, and you know, and he's shortened the game, and he doesn't like chew clock or anything. It's just it'll be like a 12 play drive that just takes that long because he's not really trying to go down the field. It's a lot of run, play action, short stuff, and then he'll kind of adjust from there.
For what it's worth, I think it's going to be Colts Titans. Looking at this chart, because the Titans, I just beat the Titans, so he's going to drop to 11-6, and the Bills is going to finish at 12-5, which should bump him up to the 6th seed, and then drop the Titans down to the 7th seed.
Well, if that happens, then that is true. It should. So if it is Colts Titans, let's assume it is Colts Titans.
Well, let's hope it's not another 84-0 showing.
Well, I don't think that's gonna happen. I think he had a dev game. By the way he talked in that game channel, him saying, oh, I needed this many yards left, and Noob saying, oh, well, too bad, or tough luck, or something like that, being a smartass.
Okay.
I honestly think the Titans could win. I think if there is an upset in this first row, I think the Titans would be the team to upset.
Yeah. Titans
Yeah,
isn't bad.
I don't know how
He
the
needs
other
to figure out
matchup.
the quarterback thing, of course, but he plays well with a non-ability quarterback.
Yeah, I don't know how their other matchups have gone, but I'm sure. Like I know I've played him before. I know he's better than 84-0. So I know
Yeah.
he probably something had to give when I saw that score. But I mean, I know he's better than that. So he's definitely capable of pulling the upset.
Okay, so the next matchup reminder: the Bills and Titans will be flipped because of the win and loss that they had. It'll be Ravens and Bills. Now, for people that don't know, Raw will not have Lamar Jackson for the playoffs. So Lamar is out for the entire season for in the playoffs. So he'll have to run with Max Duggan. Um, I can't believe I said what I just said. Raw's defense has always been good, but I think Raw will end up winning because of Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor will be the reason why he wins this game with the wheel
Yeah,
route and just being able to run like he does with him. And then he'll
it's
like
not even just it's not even just a wheel ride. It's just like when I played him in week 17, I think no 16. Like yeah, I won like 55-52 or some shit like that. Like I think Jonathan Taylor probably had 350 yards of total offense. Like
Wow.
it was just ridiculous. He was running all over my like he. I think he probably had 175 rushing, probably close to that receiving. It was just he did hit me on the wheel route one time. Another time was one of those little corner routes with the running back. It's just everything. Like if you can, like I can see now why. I think didn't Jonathan Taylor get hurt one year for him?
I don't know
Maybe.
if he got hurt, but I know he won MVP.
no, he didn't have him year one. He had him year
Oh,
two.
okay. Without
He's
like John, I'll put it like this: like Jonathan Taylor is a way bigger piece of his offense than Lamar Jackson. So that's why even with Lamar hurt, like I feel like he could still beat the Bills, I believe. I don't know how much further he can go from there, but like Jonathan Taylor's gonna keep him in the game because that dude is freaking ridiculous.
well. I think
Like the shit
Jonathan.
he was.
I think JT's up. He's gonna win the MVP again. Either him or Zach
Oh,
Wilson.
really?
Yeah, I mean, well,
Goddamn.
JT won it last season. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I agree with you. I think Raw can win that game or end up winning that game. I think where it's gonna hurt is when he plays somebody like a Noob, because that's who he would end up playing in the next round would be Noob. I think that's where it would hurt because he's gonna have to throw the ball against Noob. Noob's not gonna let Noob's too good of a user to let him run for 300 yards, right, or 250. He's too good of a user. So I think next week will be kind of that let's see what happens thing. But Chiefs and Jags, I'm not going to spend too much time on it. The Chiefs don't even have a winning record. I
I can't believe you're not going to let me talk about the Ravens and Bills game. All right,
Oh, I
well.
didn't. Go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry, I thought you did.
So you guys gave the Bills way too much respect. The question is, without Lamar Jackson, can Ross still win 70-0? And I think he can. The Bills is terrible. I don't know how he's in the playoffs every year, but he sucks and he shouldn't be here. All right, Chiefs Jaguars. I got the Jags, of course.
Yeah, that's some true Hill mentality right there. That's the
I
true
mean,
Hill.
I'd have the Jags, but like, I mean, he's so inconsistent. Like, I don't know. Like, I could see him going into that game and messing around and losing. Like,
He is
even though,
inconsistent, but he does always score a lot of points. Like if the Chiefs win, the Chiefs are probably going to have to put up 49 or more points.
yeah, I mean, he does score a lot of points, but he'll throw a lot of picks and stuff too. But
True.
that being said, I mean, like you said, if it is a shootout, I do believe that he'll win that game if it's a shootout.
Yeah.
But he, like you said, he's very inconsistent. Remember last Madden? What was it? Year 1 through 3, he was dominating the regular season. I mean, he was either losing one game or he was going undefeated. And each time he'd get into the playoffs with Aaron Rodgers, I mean, he would end up. There was one year he choked against Raw. He was up 2 scores, and instead of just playing smart, playing let's play clock, let's play conservative, don't give anything, that doesn't don't force anything. He ended up choking that lead, and it ended up Raw ended up winning that game. So if he can stay out of his own way, I agree with you guys. Shootout wise, I don't think it'll be a shootout. Playoff games are always weird, especially in LND. When you think they're going to go a certain way, they never go the way you think they are. I
Yeah,
think.
he's plays better defense than I think people realize too. So I'm not saying he's locked down, but he's not just like gonna. I don't think he's just gonna let the Jag just march up and down the field on him. So I think he's a little better at defense than one would suspect.
Yeah, no disrespect to JJ for picking the Jags over him. He's not a bad user by any means, but I just think the Jags got it.
Chris Jones is also leading the league in sacks, if I'm not mistaken. And I can
Oh, and
actually.
I just looked up the stats of my game against Raw, and Jonathan Taylor had 20 carries for 257 and 5 touchdowns,
Damn.
and 6 catches for 163 and 1 touchdown.
So
So
that's 410 yards of offense, something like that.
420.
420, praise it. Look at that.
Yep.
So
420.
as a defensive tackle, Chris Jones, JJ's defensive tackle, has 20 and a half sacks and 50 tackles. As a defensive tackle, that's pretty damn good.
Does he user the Chris Jones? Do we know?
I don't know. I don't think so. I played him week 1.
Okay.
I think he's a linebacker guy.
Because that's crazy for a D tackle to get that many sacks.
Yeah, that's pretty
But
insane.
staying in the AFC, let's try to use our brains here. So we have it would be the
It would be Jets, Jags, and then Colts, Ravens.
yes. So Jets Jags. I don't think Jets are
I
gonna
think the
win
Jets
that
is
game.
winning any shootout, so
Well,
I would take the
I mean,
Jets.
I also think the Jets are he's just playing him. He's just really good. Defensively and
so
offensively, there's a bigger hole on defense than there is on offense. But
I'll just say
uh,
this: he now has Zach Wilson as X factor. So Zach
Nice.
Wilson's a 99 X factor. So yeah, I played him week 18. I think I lost 42-13. Score was a little worse than probably I could have made it closer, but it was last game. He played me full strength. I just wanted to throw it around with Tua. I think I threw maybe 3 or 4 picks in the first half because he's just in the middle of the field with Chuck Clark or whatever safety he decides to use there. Like he's very aware of where people need to be in the system that he runs, and yeah, like he'll bait you a lot for picks, and
Yeah.
it's tough. Like that's why I think that first year he maybe had like 16 picks with Chuck Clark or something like that. It's tough because like he runs like I think like a cover two is probably his favorite thing to run, but you can't just attack it the way you would normally because he's got coverage there, especially like he's got Sauce on one side and I
Yeah.
think it's Bryce Hall on the other, so they're both ability. It's tough.
Yeah, no. When you play him, you have to play a really clean game, no matter what. If you play solid defense, he'll force the ball, and but he's also at the same time a guy that if nothing's there, he's throwing the ball away. He's not going to take a sack or force anything. He's going
Well,
to throw the ball away.
he's got really good pocket presence. That's kind of the biggest thing. Like a lot of other users, you can probably rush three, and after a while, they'll just kind of panic and scramble into a sack. Like he'll sit there and he'll just wait till someone gets open, like
Yeah.
literally. And with how Madden is, depending on where you're at in the field, like if you're like on your side of the field, like maybe the 30 or 40, like the defense after a while just completely loses track of everybody. And everybody that ran downfield, they're coming back to the ball. The defense just doesn't know what the hell is going on. And he'll just pick you apart that way. Like, I mean, I don't know. Like you said, I pay him twice a year. Like he's got X Factor Zach Wilson, Cooper Cup, Garrett Wilson, Alan Lazard at tight end is like a cheat code damn near. I don't know what his overall is now, but that dude's always getting open. It's just tough. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. At this rate, like he's got to be like, I know I'm probably getting ahead of myself, but I'm sure he's like my favorite to make it back to the Super Bowl, at least make it out the AFC at least.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a very patient and good player. He takes what he's given, and he just plays good. He's a good all around player.
100%. Now, where he does make mistakes, like I said earlier, if he has to have something, as in he has to have a 3 points or seven, and you play lockdown defense, he'll force something. I mean, opportunities will arise. Zach Wilson also doesn't have perfect accuracy still, so you're still looking at overthrows. I mean, Justin Fields has it too. Fields will airmail some, but you would have the noob versus Raw. Again, Raw doesn't have Lamar Jackson, so here's if noob goes up early and Raw is having to play from behind, noob will win that game because Raw doesn't have a Lamar to rely on, Raw doesn't have Lamar to rely on, and you have to hold your breath for a throw. And that's not me dissing Raw, me thinking that he can't do it. I think in that situation, I think Madden's going to take its course, and you're going to see an overthrow.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
it
I
gets a
mean
lot harder.
he's not
But
as good of a passer this Madden as last Madden, and it's just I mean, it's no disrespect to him, but last Madden we know those streaks were insane. So having to worry about the streaks opened up the rest of the field for him. So you're so worried about getting beat deep, then he could start killing you with some of the middle of the field stuff. Now this year, to my knowledge, I don't think he's got any burners on the outside right now. So you're not really worried about getting beat deep. And I know Noob loves his speed, so his cornerbacks might be faster than Ra's receivers. So I'm pretty sure when and if they play, he's going into that game like someone other than Jonathan Taylor's gonna have to beat me.
yeah, I think this Colts Ravens matchup is going to be one of the better games of this season. Um, Nubdini has a good offense, but it's not nearly as good as his defense. And Ra without Lamar, his offense is going to be hampered as well. So it's going to be a very defense heavy game. And with Ra needing to run more, I mean, if Ra can go up and get a stop and score again, I mean, it might be a Ravens game handedly from there on because he can just run, run, run. Take what he gets. Even if he has to settle for three on a couple drives, he might just be able to stay ahead. With that being said, if the Colts go up two scores, I don't think Ra's going to be able to come back into that game without Lamar Jackson. So it's going to be a defensive battle, but it should be a good game.
Okay, but which else picks? I'm going to go noob.
I got Noob
I got,
just because no
I got,
Lamar hurts.
yeah, I got Noob too.
Okay, so going to the NFC, it would be Bears, Seahawks, and Falcons and Cowboys. C-Mart, I'm only gonna let you pick because it would be me and Spacing playing each other. Um, do you have any thoughts on the game versus me and Spacing, and what would your prediction be?
I haven't really watched either of you guys play this year, so honestly, my prediction would just be based off of record this year and also performance the prior two seasons. So I do think it would be a close game, but I would have to go with Carter just because I believe he's the back-to-back representative of the NFC so far, and like I think we could possibly have a third time of Jets
Jets
versus
Bears.
Bears for the
Yeah.
Super Bowl.
Okay. So then we would have Seahawks, or not Seahawks, Cowboys and Falcons. I was thinking of a bird, just didn't say the right bird. Um, this would be at Dallas, so he wouldn't have home field. Man, if Quinn comes in and he's on point, I think Quinn wins that game. But I think that could be an upset. I think that I know that's messed up to say as a 2 seed upsetting the 3 seed, but I think I'll go with an upset. I think Quinn looks ahead. I think he looks to the NFC Championship and ends up losing that game, and it's the Cowboys in the NFC
I
Championship.
am also taking the Cowboys, but I'm thinking Micah Parsons comes out, gets 4.5 sacks, just completely wrecks the entire game. And I think the Cowboys take it 28-17.
Yeah, so I don't think that Quinn is going to look ahead. I think if he gets that first playoff win under his belt in the first round, I do think he'll be focused. But I do agree that um that Dallas D line, because Quinn does, he does like to pass. Like I know he runs the ball. He's got Bijan. He will run the ball, but he does prefer to pass more to run. And like with that Dallas D line, especially Micah coming off the edge, like it could create some issues. Because although pass rushing is not as OP as it was last year, there are games where, especially if momentum kicks in, that shit goes crazy. And no, and just like last year, if you guess pass and kind of do all that stuff, it gets out of hand. Now, one thing I'll say is like Quinn does use Kyle Pitts the way that the Falcons fans in real life probably wish the Falcons used Kyle Pitts. Like he is a freaking handful because I played him this year and he's a handful to deal with. And I don't know who Dallas has to kind of monitor that because you can't just leave the computer on him because like he's gonna
Yeah.
go crazy.
Yeah. So with that, we actually that's actually the only games that we really disagree on is that one. So I'm gonna play this. So NFC Championship, we're gonna give multiple predictions. So NFC Championship, let's say it's Bears and Cowboys. Um, who would you guys say?
You said Bears and Cowboys. I
Yep.
go
I
Bears.
would take the Bears. I think that the Bears are the more complete team. Like C-Mart said earlier, they've represented the NFC twice. I very much think it's going to be another Bears Jets Super Bowl.
Yeah,
Okay.
so do I.
All right. Would you? Okay. So Seahawks, Cowboys. I'll start and I'll say I do think that Seahawks would win that game. I think that's NFC Championship where if the Cowboys were to advance, where he would max out.
Yeah, I'd go Seahawks too.
Okay.
I'll also take myself. Thank you.
So let's go to the AFC Championship, which at this point we've predicted it's going to be Jets and Colts. It's a it's honestly a heavyweight matchup. Thinking about it, I think defensively, the Jets are a more complete defensive team. They are a very big bend but don't break defense. There is no running the ball. I think where the Jets will struggle, he struggled in the past against it, is a running quarterback. Now, times I've played him, I don't run a lot with Justin Fields. I'll run a read option from time to time, but I don't run a lot. So I do a lot of rolling out, but against him, he's really big on contained, so I usually don't do it that much. Anyway, I do think that from the few games I've seen Noob, he likes to. He's more of a West Coast guy, as in he looks at his first two reads and he bails. So I do think that if that's the case, and the Jets doesn't make the adjustment he needs to stop that, I think that Noob could win. That's not my prediction. I think the Jets end up winning, but if Noob does win, I think it's because of that.
Yeah, my thing is like playing the Jets. It's like because his offense is so potent, it puts pressure on you when you're on offense, and you're forced to kind of maybe be a little more aggressive than you want to, which can lead to you taking chances, and that could lead to turnovers. And that's kind of where I'm at. Like, and then his, like I said, his defense isn't bad, but especially with him having Quentin Williams in the middle, like he goes to that 3-3-5 or whatever, and like you're not running up the middle at all on him. And then he's really good at shooting the gaps with his with his safety or linebacker, whoever he's got there. So I mean, the interesting thing is like I know Noob's got like Jamar Chase and his 99 speed guy, so it could put some pressure on his defense. I mean, I don't know, man. Like the more I think about it, though, just like I think like I just think the Jets are gonna have too much offense. Like even if his defense does say falter, like I feel like he's gonna be able to score. Like I think it would probably behoove Noob to slow. Like you'd want to limit the game, limit possession and stuff like that,
In
and
space,
then maybe you can get a chance.
spacing before you go, I did want to add on to this something else that I don't think they've played each other yet. I could be wrong, but I don't. I think for Noob, I do think the Jets wins this game, but for Noob, I think this is more of a okay. I understand what I have to do the next time we get into the playoffs and I see him again. It's more of one of those games where it's like, oh, okay, I see what needs to be done or what I'm gonna
Hmm.
have to stop. Spacing, go ahead.
Well, so first and foremost, I do think that the Jets are going to win, but I think the game's going to come down to fourth downs. Neither of these guys punt. I think it's going to come down to maybe a couple bad animations on 4th and 7 from Madden, and someone's going to get behind and just not be able to keep up anymore.
Okay, so Super Bowl. What's Super Bowl predictions? And now, if I'm going off, it's me and Jets. I don't know. I don't think when it comes to him and I playing, it's honestly who makes the most mistakes. Last time we played, I didn't turn. I turned the ball over once on a kick return. He turned it over, I believe, 3 times. He threw 3 interceptions. And the first time we played, I threw 3 interceptions or 2 interceptions and fumbled one. So whoever's won the turnover battle has won the game. So if it's me and him, I think whoever wins turnover battle wins the game.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
so I
definitely
haven't
think it's
watched.
going to be close. I think it's going to be good, but I unfortunately I do think the Jets are going to win that just because he seems to be real hot right now. He's playing well. He's got his defense where he wants it. If he runs through the playoffs like that, it could be another Jets victory.
Yeah, I haven't watched either of the two Super Bowls, so I don't know how your games went. I know they were close. Um, obviously I'm biased just because I have to play the guy twice a year, and like it's a handful. And I'm someone that considers myself a defensive guy, and it's a lot having to deal with that. And the fact that he's got Zach to X Factor now just completely adds another dynamic there where he's a 99 overall X Factor, so he's able to pretty much get anything he wants on him. And that's talking about pass lead, elite, set feet lead, hot route master, whatever you can think of. And we already know he's a passer. And I know you're great on defense too, but yeah, I don't know. Like I'd prefer not to pick because I really don't know. But if I had to pick someone, I'd say the Jets in a
No,
close one.
no, I get where you're coming from. Even playing like me playing it, I couldn't tell you who. It's not that I lack confidence in playing him. It's just, man, I'll tell you this: playing against him is fun. Each time I've played him, I walk away like, man, that was a lot of fun. Like win or lose, I've walked away from that game having a lot of fun. But just to play devil's or not devil's advocate, but just to, we were undecided on who would represent the NFC. Jets and Seahawks spacing. What do you think? Do you think you would have a fair shot against them, or you giving the Jets a lot of credit? Or do you think he runs away with it?
So the last time I played him, he did not have he had Zach Wilson, but he was regular. I think it was last season at the start of the season, so before he had built Zach Wilson up, and the game felt very winnable. I don't remember if I won or lost. Truthfully, I may have won, but it didn't. I don't remember it being like, "Holy shit, this is an impossible game. I don't know if I could beat him." With that being said, Zach Wilson now at 99 overall X Factor is a huge bump. So I would like to think that I could beat him, but truthfully, it could be anybody's game. I think the Super Bowl matchup, no matter what two teams make it, is going to be a good game. I don't think there's going to be any blowouts or anything like that.
Okay. I think if you ended up playing him, I think what gives him the edge is I don't think your defense is complete yet. I don't think it's where you wanted them to be yet. I still think you're like a year or so away from your defense being like, all right, like this is who I want, or having a few more abilities. I mean, your pass rush is crazy, especially in the interior. I mean, I watched your game against the Titans. They were running free like I don't even know if they were in practice mode or something, but they were running free every 2 seconds. So I think it's kind of like with Noob. I think that's kind of like that. Okay, I get what I need to get or need to do to put myself back in the situation where it's competitive. But with that, so C-Mart's got to go, so it's just me and spacing now. Um, so we all have we have two Jets. I actually think we're all kind of in favor of the Jets winning, in all honesty. But on the screen now, if you want to look, I have the current NFC and AFC playoff race just to give everybody an idea. The Bengals were eliminated with the Bills winning, um, so that hurts him. Or who did he? Maybe oh, it's because he lost against the Jets. That's what ended up making him
Okay.
eliminated. Which he had a chance to win out of the NFC. I don't know how the tiebreaker is going to go between the Panthers and Commanders if the Panthers lose, but I do think that we are in for a very very good playoffs this season, which is always exciting, makes the league a lot of fun, and makes it interactive.
Yeah,
Um,
hey, let's hope that they go by quickly. No one's sitting on three
nobody,
days waiting for one game.
nobody's going to sell goats or go watch people work in a truck.
Yep.
Um, anyway, just for content for the future, we're when the Super Bowl does happen, after the Super Bowl, we're gonna have the gameplay up, and we're also gonna be interviewing the Super Bowl winner. So, kind of give their thought process through the game and as well as the season, and if there's key plays happening, they can also tell us what they thought or excuse me what was going through their mind when as they were playing. Any final thoughts before we wrap it up?
I think it's been a good year of Madden so far. I think LND is really killing it. The league's been a lot of fun. Sometimes the game is frustrating. That's just the nature of Madden. But I think that this year has been better than last year. So I'm happy with that.
Yeah, for sure. It'll be exciting to do this again either mid next season or at the end of next season. I think things will also change because we have a new Chargers user. So I think
Yeah, I think the Super Bowl watch thing like that's a great idea. I like that. I think it'll be a lot of fun.
yeah, yeah. So until next time, it's a shorter than normal, I know, but rather keep it short and sweet this time than us ramble on. So until after the Super Bowl, peace out.